Hello and welcome to another episode of Salary Voodoo, the show right here on the MonkMMATics channel where I, your host, Monk,
say my name,
aka the Monkmatician, give you a different perspective into building your GPP lineups. I have historical stats on just salaries and how they perform overall, stats that you will not find anywhere else. So guys, be sure to pair this with game theory, pair it with your fight tape, and you will be well on your way to constructing the best possible GPP lineups. Without further ado, let's get right into the voodoo.
Show's about to start!
Firstly, what is Salary Voodoo?
I think there just might be no rules.
Well, Salary Voodoo offers stats that aim to give you a fresh, unique angle when it comes to MMA DFS lineup construction, especially for GPP or large field tournaments. I glean stats from historically unusual places such as salaries, fight positions, weight classes, etc. Highly probability based and very overanalyzed, I'm sure. But most importantly, guys, be sure to comment down below in this video what fights you want to see from UFC 291 next week, the big pay-per-view from a Salary Voodoo perspective. Love seeing you guys in the comments. It's the only way to make this even more fun is if you guys get involved. So pick two fighters or pick a fight or however many fights you want to pick, put them in the comments below and I will choose 3 of them for UFC 291 as far as a Salary Voodoo perspective goes. Let's get right into it, guys. And the first fight of Salary Voodoo is going to happen between $8,400 and $7,800 this week. We've got a lightweight fight here. 50.46% of the time, someone from a lightweight fight makes the optimal lineup. Fight number 3, not a good one to target historically, just 44% optimal. However, when the salary pair of 84 and 78 fight each other, 60.64% optimal, and we are under leveraged to that spot by 8.14%. You want negative leverage on this show. That means that they are making the optimal lineup more than we are putting them in our lineups on average. So negative 8% leverage is a gigantic number. 8,400 has an average ownership of 27.41% and its leverage is negative 2.37%. So 8,400 we are not putting in our lineups quite enough. Orthodox versus Orthodox here, 50% and 50% turns out. And the finish win rate for 8,400, 26.6%, and it has an identical decision win rate. The $7,800 salary average ownership about 2.5% less than its $8,400 counterpart, sitting at just 25.14%. But its leverage is negative 5.71%, almost 6% under owned, guys, for a $7,800. The finish win rate 19.15%, and the decision win rate about almost 4.5% higher than that. Let's get into the optimal numbers here. These two salaries have faced off 94 times since 1/1/21, with the $8,400 salary making the optimal lineup 28 of those 94 times, for a just under 30% optimal rate, 29.79. Anything at 30 is very good. You'd love to see that number. Anything lower than that is not so good, but we're damn near right at that 30% mark. 8,400 has a win rate 53.19%, and when it does win, guys, it makes the optimal lineup at a relatively impressive 56% of the time. That is a good number for a favorite salary for sure. 107.1 points on average when it makes the optimal lineup. Meanwhile, 7,800 has made the optimal one more time than its favorite counterpart, 29 out of 94 times, for a almost 31% optimal rate. Just a 43.62% win rate, but when 7,800 does win, guys, makes the optimal lineup 70.73% of the time. That's a fantastic number for just the 3rd highest underdog salary overall. And when it does make the optimal, average score is 102.82 points. So, man, there are some great numbers for this fight, but it turns out the underdog salary is just ever so slightly outperforming the favorite salary here. So guys, what are we going to get with the first fight of the night? Are we going to get some of that good voodoo, or are we going to get some of that bad voodoo? Let's find out. And the first fight for Salary Voodoo is a Bernie, baby, a great one to target. In fact, 8,400 and 7,800 is the best fight overall to target this week out of any salaries. The salary score for 8,400 turns out to be Chris Duncan this week, 7.02. That is good for 10th best overall out of all salaries. 7,800 is Yanal Ashmuz, 6.95 salary score, 8th best. So we see a dog salary outperforming a favorite salary. That is definitely something I am interested in. So love this fight, and I love that Salary Voodoo agrees with me. Let's go to the next one. Fight number 2, we've got the $9,300 salary taking on the $6,900 salary, picked by Jenna Marie. Thank you so much, Jenna. Love to see you in the comments, and thank you for picking fights every week. It's the best when you guys pick fights. Be sure to comment down below. Leave the fights you want to see for $291 in the comments, and that just makes this show so much more fun.
So much more fun.
This one's going to be a middleweight scrap, 185 pounds. Someone from middleweight makes the optimal lineup 53.6% of the time. Fight number 12, a great fight to target for Salary Voodoo, 52.94%. And the salary pair of 9,300 and 6,900 makes the optimal lineup 51.25%. And we are under leveraged by almost 7 whole percent to this fight, guys. This one seems off the top like a fantastic fight to target. Let's get into the individual numbers. Average ownership for 9,300 is 31%, and we're over leveraged by 1.14%. Obviously, that's a very high ownership number, and when we see numbers like this, you either have to make the choice to go way over or just fade, you know, almost completely. So when you get into the 30%, that's when you got that choice to make here. Southpaw beats Orthodox 52.62% of the time. That's a great number, good trend.
1.0, 1.25.
That cost me a lot of money.
Finish win rate for 9,300, 48.75%, and the decision win rate is about half that at 23.75. For 6,900, Orthodox beats Southpaw just 45.5% of the time. Finish win rate and decision win rate are identical at 12.5%. Average ownership 13%, guys. And look at this, the leverage for 6,900 is negative 8.16. That means people are putting 9,300 in their lineups too much and 6,900 in their lineups not enough, and not enough by over 8%. That does not sound like a big number, but it is a rather large number for the leverage. That might be the highest negative leverage that we have on the entire card, so something to think about there. These two salaries have faced off 80 times, with the favorite salary making the optimal lineup 24 of those 80 times for a 30% optimal rate. A very, very good number, as we talked about in the first fight. Has a win rate of 72.5%, extremely high, and when it does win, it makes the optimal lineup just 41.38% of the time, scoring an average of 113.87 per optimal. Meanwhile, the dog salary has made the optimal lineup 17 times for an optimal rate of 21.25. Very, very subpar. Has a subpar win rate as well of just 25%, but when 6,900 does win, guys, it makes the optimal lineup 85% of the time. That is the second best number overall. Only one salary is better than that, and it is the $6,700 salary. Has only 2 wins, but it made the optimal lineup both of those times, obviously. So 85% is nothing to sneeze at here. 100.67 points per optimal. The $9,300 salary numbers look fantastic. The $6,900 salary doesn't look great until you get to that optimal per win. So let's see who we've got here, and let's see what our salary voodoo is going to look like this week. And we've got Andre Muniz, Paul Craig, guys. 2 guys that know how to finish in the first round, and also have been finished before. So this looks like a fantastic fight to target. We've got ourselves a Bernie for Salary Voodoo. That means we've got that good voodoo for 9,300, 6,900. The salary score for Muniz' side, 7.13. That is good for 11th best overall for 9,300. And for 6,900, salary score of 9.88, 26th best overall. So not great in that bottom third for sure. But remember, when 6,900 does win, 85% optimal, guys. That is a number that cannot be ignored. The negative 8% leverage there, 30% optimal rate for 9,300. Definitely target this fight. Salary Voodoo agrees with me. That's why we've got Bernie up there. And let's keep it moving to the third and last fight of Salary Voodoo. Final fight for Salary Voodoo this week. Please hit the like, hit the sub on this channel as we inch closer to 500. Here we've got 9,200 taking on 7K this week. Featherweight fight at 145. Featherweight's the best optimal percentage of all weight classes, 55.91%. Fight number 13, almost identical to that weight class percentage, 55.81% of the time we have a 13th fight. Someone from that fight makes the optimal lineup, but the salary pair, and this is where it starts to go downhill, guys, 45.24%, and we are over leveraged by just under a percentage point to this fight. Let's check out the underdog salary first, guys. Average ownership of 15.49%, and we are under leveraged by 8.32%. I thought maybe the last fight was the highest leverage, but this one is even higher at minus 0.8 or minus 8.32%. So 7K, definitely not one to sleep on.
Okay.
as far as optimal goes. Orthodox versus Orthodox, 50% obviously. Finish win rate for 7K is 15.5%, and it has an identical decision win rate. Average ownership for 9,200 is 30.3%, and as you would imagine, we are over leveraged to that, but by a gigantic number, guys, 8.87%. We are putting this $9,200 salary in our lineups too much, guys, by almost 9%.
So sad. So sad. So sad.
Finish win rate for 9,200 is 28.5. Decision win rate is just over 39%. These two salaries have faced off 84 times, with the $9,200 salary making the optimal lineup 18 of those 84 times, with an optimal percentage of 21.43, a very, very low number. Has a good win rate of 67, almost 68%, but when it does win, guys, only makes optimal 31.5% of the time, scoring an average of 113.69 DraftKings points. Meanwhile, the dog salary, the 7K salary, has made the optimal lineup 2 more times than the $9,200 salary. That's almost unbelievable. For a 23.8% optimal rate, has a win rate of just under 31%, but when it does win, guys, 76, almost 77% optimal. 99.47 is all the points it needs to make the optimal lineup on average. I mean, 7K is a very, very low salary, but nobody is playing it, and they should. We are under leveraged, like I said, over 8% to that, and people are just throwing 9,200 in there willy-nilly, 9% too much. So definitely something to think about here, but that's beside the point. Overall, are we going to get that good voodoo? Are we going to get that bad voodoo for the final fight of Salary Voodoo UFC London? Let's find out. And we've got a frozen jack, the first bad voodoo of the night. Turns out this fight is Nathaniel Wood and Andre Feely. Very interesting. 9,200 has a 9.31 salary score that is good for 23rd overall. So just under half, basically in the middle to lower third of the salary scores here. 7K, meanwhile, 4 spots better than that. 8.73, good for 19th best overall. So that one of the top, the bottom 5-6 salaries has a top 20 salary score. So something to remember there when you're rostering these fighters. But I think this one probably goes to decision, but I'm glad I see Andre Feely in that 7K spot, because I will have some of him rostered. Just, you know, I'll increase my ownership based on this salary voodoo, because the 7K salary outperforming the 9,200 salary. So something to keep in mind there. Let's get this recap done and get you guys out of here. All right, quick recap of UFC London for Salary Voodoo. Our first fight was 8,400, 7,800. We had Chris Duncan facing off against Yanal Ashmuz, and we got a Bernie there. In fact, the #1 fight overall for Salary Voodoo this week. Second fight, we had 9,300, 6,900. Andre Muniz against Paul Craig. That is also a Bernie, and we've got 2 finishers and people that like to get finished in this fight. So definitely one I will be targeting as well. And our final fight of the night for Salary Voodoo, Nathaniel Wood, 9,200, taking on 7K Andre Feely. We had some bad numbers from that $9,200 salary and some surprisingly good numbers from the underdog salary here. Either way, we got ourselves some bad voodoo. But look at those numbers again from the 7K side before you go making your decisions. Guys, let's get you on out of here. There you have it. Another Salary Voodoo in the books. This one, UFC London. Thank you so much for submitting the fights. It's much more fun when you guys put the fights in there. Be sure to comment down below for what you want to see UFC 291 next week. Had a blast doing this show, as always. One of my favorite shows to do. Love seeing these numbers because I am a numbers guy, and these are numbers that no one else has that I am more than happy to share with you. So once again, hope you have a great week, and as usual, I want all of you to enjoy the fights. So, enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.
I love this stuff. Only come here if you like that stuff.